Hello, welcome to Refill Technologies again. In this session, we'll see how to use SQL transaction method to increase the value whatever is exist in our database table. If you can remember from our last video session, we already seen how to use the SQL transaction method into our Windows Phone application. In this session, we'll see how to use the same piece of code in into your Windows Phone application by invoking Wcf Service. Basically, it's doing the same thing. By in this session, we want to use the Wcf Service to work as a middleware. Okay, so let me just flip the SQL Management Studio. So here's the table I already created, the account details table. It has only one record. So this is the value. We want to increase. In real time, we want to like bank account, when we go to the cashier counter, we want to put some deposit into our account balance, then we can see that our account balance is updated instantly. So this is exactly what we want to do in this session. Okay, so I already created the store procedure, is the name of the store procedure. As you can see, this store procedure expect this all the parameters are defined into the deposit table. Then we are saying the insert into deposit table whatever is parameters coming for this from our client application. So at this point, let me just open the Visual Studio already is running in my machine. Let me just open the method I already created. As you can see, the operation contract. With this operation contract, we want to use the transaction flow method. Okay, with this transaction flow option, we want to say this is allowed. Otherwise, you won't be able to use the SQL transaction method into WCF service, right? In this, in type method types is string. I just name it just deposit. In this deposit method, I'm just passing the deposit class. Let me show you what is the deposit class. Here is the deposit class. This deposit class expect the parameter is called account holder name, amount, the account number, the transaction types, and sort code and date. Again, it's the same idea using the getter and setter property to initialize it. So let me just go to the method I already implemented. If you can remember from our last video session, this is the same piece of method code we used in our Windows Phone application demo, right? So remember, we you just use the same thing. Otherwise, you won't be able to use the transaction method into WCF service. Otherwise, if you try to run it, you will get an error. Okay, so make sure you just mention operation behavior equal to transaction scope record equal to true, and autocomplete equal to true as well. Okay, so in here we are just passing the string message, and in after the string message we are defining that variable is called j, and we are converting into integer 32-bit. In this, the what the I mean that field we want to convert is the account number. What is the account? Where is the account number is coming from our deposit class. Then we are just creating the skill connection. In the skill connection, you're passing a skill connection string. Then we are just bring the SQL command. Then in this command, we are just saying select everything from this table. In case our table name is account details, then we are just creating the SQL transaction object. Then we are opening the connection. Then with this transaction object, we are just with the connection, we are just initializing the method called is being transaction. In this command, we are just passing the connection as well. After that, what you're saying in this transaction command, associate the command with the transaction, and we are just defining the what type of command it will be. It type will be types of text. Then we are saying the type of the command we want to execute is the update the account details and the account balance equal to account balance. And remember, this is the sign to increase the value of the account balance. Then we are saying that the account number is coming from the amount is coming from the deposit dot amount field. Then we are saying the where clause, we are just mentioning the was the account number equal to whatever the account number is from our deposit class. Okay, then we are just using this variable what we created in our in first line and converting into the integer. In this variable, we are passing the command with the execute non-query method. Then we are checking if command equal to 1. Then we want to commit the transaction and display the message. If we want to, then we are just using another SQL command to insert a new record into a deposit table. In this case, we are using the store procedure to insert the data. The name of the store procedure is deposit one. Then we're just saying the types of the command it will be store procedure. Then we are just adding all the parameters. The expecting this. This store procedure. Then we are opening the connection. Then we are using the execute non-query method again to execute this. Then we are closing the connection. Then we are just else the transaction rollback. That means nothing will happen. So at this point, let me just run this WCF service. Let me go to the Windows Form application. As you can remember, this is the same form we are using from our Windows, simple Windows demo. So this is the same design, same form already designed. In this, button event handler, I just it's the same idea creating the my company confidential service client object with this name is my. Then we are just creating the instance of this class. In this class, we are initializing all the values coming from the text box, 1, 2, 3, whatever it is, and selecting the comma box. Then in this client, we have the deposit method. Remember, this is the method we have defined in your WCF service. So when we want to insert, look, this is the method we have defined into our WCF service. So in this deposit method, we expect the account number, account class will be passed. This is nothing, our deposit class. Then we are just displaying the message, the withdraw, deposit is withdraw or deposit is submitted. Okay, whatever message you want to display. So at this point, let me just run the application. As you can see, the application is running. Let me just try to deposit some money into our account number one. The account number one, sorry, the account number one, and and the name is, for example, CX9. The amount we want to deposit like that much, sort code, and the transaction type and data time is auto-captured. The moment I click the button, we should expect, we'll see that balance is updated, and we will get the message is, money is already withdrawn or deposit, whatever it is. Okay, so let me show you. At this moment, the account balance is minus. We expect this account balance will be plus or will be increased. As you can see, deposit is withdrawn. Whatever message I written. At this point, let me just re-execute the query. Look at this. The account balance is increased. Okay, this is the same piece of code. We just reuse it into our WCF service from our Windows Phone application. Still, if you have any comments, any questions, any suggestion to improve this video, feel free to leave any comments in my YouTube channel or in my blog. I'll get back to you when I can. But thank you for listening. See you next video tutorial.